could be another one. Whatever kind, Jessica Pierce finance, whatever your industry is, go ahead and drop that in your name, and we would love for you to do that today. All right. So we have a great event for you today. I want you to engage on the chat. You may message everybody on the chat, or you may private message people, and you're welcome to do that. Thank you, Rob, for getting us started. And so that's an example of what we would love for you guys to see. The other thing that we would love for you guys to do is to hop on over, open up another browser window, and open up your LinkedIn profile. And if you click on your picture, it will take you to your profile homepage, and that URL in the top of your profile homepage is where people can get to connect with you directly. So drop your LinkedIn URL into this chat, and we will be able to connect with you. Make sure it is clickable. So you notice how Rob's LinkedIn URL is clickable. That means we can click on it and go right out to his profile and connect directly to him. The chat, due to security reasons, we're not able to copy and paste information, so it needs to be a clickable URL so that we can connect to you directly. All right. I encourage all of you to connect with our speakers today, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them through the chat. They're going to be chatting throughout the day today. We are not sending out a PowerPoint slides. We're not sending this PowerPoint out, but we are blogging this event, and it is live on Facebook right now. And we will post the event afterwards on our website. And so between those different ways, you can get this content at a later date as well if you wanted to go back and reference anything. And if you're not on video, we would love to see you on video. Everybody is muted, so there's no communication verbally permitted due to security reasons again, but we would love to see your awesome faces this morning. All right, Sheila, you want to jump in and add anything here?
Oh, sure. So you already talked about the chat. Thanks for getting that going. I think that's the best way to still make this a networking event, right? We can still network virtually. Toward the end of the event, you'll notice some polling windows come up, and they'll just ask you, how was registration? How did you enjoy the keynote speaker? As soon as you answer those polling questions, the window will go away for you. And you have some control over how the video of the speaker is displayed. And I wanted to point that out because this morning our keynote speaker doesn't use slides, so you'll be able to see him. And if you want to see him bigger than the rest of the windows, you can toggle between gallery view and speaker view, and it's up to you. You just have to find the little icon and click on it. So hopefully that makes sense. It depends on the device you're on where it will be. If anyone is in need of closed captioning, go ahead and just let me know by direct messaging here, and I will get that going. I wanted to mention we had piloted a coaching event. If any of you used to come to our events in person, you remember that last hour of the event, we would have tables with resume writers and LinkedIn coaches, career coaches, and the like, and we were able to offer coaching, and we have tried to figure out how to do that virtually, and we piloted once, a small group. So thank you for those of you who did that with us. And I want to let you know there's some more coming soon. So watch your email. If you registered for today's event, you should get an invitation for a coaching event. And just to let you know, it's nothing like what we're doing today. There's no presentations. It's just you would show up, and you would go to a breakout room with a coach, and you can have that dialogue there. So watch your email for that. I think. Yeah, and the screen names, if you want to put your industry, like, I put Career Connectors, my company, but if you want to put your industry, that might help facilitate some discussion. That's all I had. Thanks.
Thanks, Sheila. All right, if you are just logging in, just a reminder to drop your information in the chat. Let us know where you're calling from. Let us know your target job or industry, and then go out and get your LinkedIn URL and drop that in the chat today. All right, so we're going to hear from Justin Jones correcting for 2020. And this is Career Insights to Stabilize and Clarify Your Focus. Then we're going to hear from Heather at Isola, Darren PennyMac, and Jason from WealthWave. And then at the end, we'll spend a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, just closing things out, referring you to different opportunities and resources. We have a photographer now that's available and doing one-on-one sessions at no cost. So we're going to explain all that at the end. There's just a lot of really cool stuff, and people have really stepped up during this time of kind of quarantine, whatever we're dealing with right now. And so people have been very, very, very generous. And so my hope today and my prayer over the whole event was that you find today a place of peace, a place of hope and encouragement, and a place of connections. And so I'm telling you, one of the best today. I'm so excited to have Justin Jones here. He likes nothing more than hearing his clients say, "I got the job." Affectionately known as Job Coach Justin, he is naturally skilled at helping people recognize and communicate their inherent value. And over the past 20 years, he has literally helped thousands of individuals find meaningful work. Justin is a dynamic public speaker, facilitator, and career coach, and he currently directs a team of 16 career mentors at Brigham Young University's Career Studio. You can find him on Twitter at @OneResumeResource. Justin Jones, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And look at all these fantastic people that we have joining us this morning. I am so thrilled. Folks, it is a beautiful day here where I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah. It's going to be 73 degrees today, which is unheard of for us. The world is in a crazy state, but I'm going to be grateful for this one today. So with you, I want to share 20 tips today. And that is so many. I have like 40 minutes and 20 tips. So we are going to run through this. I hope you have a pen and a paper handy. But let me just start off with a little bit of a story. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was sitting at the back of the biology room. Next to me was my friend Ryan Arcutis, star of the soccer team, and he had just come in sporting a new pair of tortoiseshell glasses, which were all the rage with the four-eyed set. What I didn't know is that from the back of the room, he couldn't see the board. I just was interested in the fashion sense that he had with his new glasses. So I said, "Hey, can I try those real quick?" So Ryan was like, "Yeah, but don't scratch them." Well, I put on the glasses, and unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that I could not see the board clearly. In that moment, there was an epiphany that happened. My vision had been obscured. It had been blurred, and I was walking around and I didn't even know that I had that challenge. Now, I want you to think about that for a second and take a moment to recognize. So take your pen, take your paper, and I want you to think back. So it's going to take a long vision, but I want you to think back to January 2020. And I know that that is a long way to look back, but I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, and I want you to see if you can remember what was your vision for 2020. What were your goals, your ambitions? What did you think was going to happen in 2020? So just take a minute and jot a few things down. And I know that some of you are probably having the same effect that I had, recognizing suddenly that, oh, what I really had planned for this year, I have totally and completely forgotten. My vision has become blurred. Well, I guarantee that there have been plenty of events and issues and weather events and politics to cloud your vision this year. However, what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on tips to help you re-strategize, refocus, and start seeing 2020 in a new vision. So with that, in the chat, for those of you who were able to remember, go ahead and just put some of those things that you thought you wanted to do in 2020, that you had energy and momentum around in 2020. And I recognize that this has been a tough year. One of my best friends just passed away from COVID. He's 6 months older than me, leaves a wife, a brand new baby, and a business in China. They are left with nothing. My son is currently in the basement, quarantined, thinking that he's going to die of COVID. He hasn't even got his test results back yet, but that's what he's 17. There have been racial issues. We are waiting to find out what the results of the election are. Arizona's numbers finally came in, but we're still waiting. There's so many things that have clouded our perspective or changed us. So I really want you to get back on track and in focus, seeing 2020. So the very first step, write this down, recognize. Recognize that your vision has changed. Recognize that things have happened that caused you to see differently. But that doesn't mean that you give up on the things that you want in the future. That's why I have this image where we're looking to the future at this point. Many of you have been looking microscopically at all the negative that has happened. And if you do that, that is where you will stay. We are not here to stay there. Today, we are here to move forward, to look forward, and to start actualizing what we can do. Now, one of the very important things that you need to recognize that some of the things that have happened this year are actually going to cause you grief. And I would like for you to take a look at what Shelley Klammer talks about, shelleyclammer.com, talking about the 6 stages of grieving. First one is numbness and denial. So when you lose a job, or when you lose a loved one, or when your year does not turn out the way that you thought it was going to, you are going to be in shock. You will feel some numbness, you will feel some denial, but these are stages that you will move through. I want you to be patient with yourself and allow this to happen. The second stage, anxiety and panic. We feel that so much everywhere we're going. It's so interesting. Even the media, Disney Plus, HBO, are now starting to put out shows that are therapeutic. I watched one last night in preparation, Zenimation on Disney Plus. They're 5-minute episodes, and they're just meant to calm you down from that anxiety and panic that everybody is feeling. The third one then comes to bargaining and control, where when you lose a job, you are then scraping and scrapping to see, what do I have control of? Because something has been taken away from you. So you will feel those things. Then comes frustration and anger. Can I get a hallelujah? I know that you're feeling it out there. I know you're feeling it out there, but we're going to work through that. And it's a stage. So frustration and anger are actual things that you need to allow yourself to feel. Just do it in a soft place with a pillow and not somewhere with someone who could be offended or actually injured by your frustration and anger. Then the next stage, depression and despair. I know, I have been there. Years ago, I was diagnosed with deep depression, ADHD, anxiety, OCD. I had all of these. I could hardly get out of bed. So can I congratulate you? Some of you may be in bed. I can't see you at this moment, but at least you're taking a step forward by being here today. Then you move into the last stage, acceptance and peace. This is not necessarily meaning that everything in your life is going well, that everything around you politically, racially, employment-wise is perfect. But you come to a space where you can sit for a moment and accept what's going on around you and realize that what's happening around you does not determine how you act, how you respond, or your self-worth. Many times in the work that I have done with thousands and thousands of clients over the years through a previous recession and currently now, I have recognized that there are 2 issues going on for people when a job loss or a career transition happens. One of them actually gets more attention than the other. I want to bring you to a point where you're recognizing the one that doesn't get as much attention. It's broken down and it's a puzzle that has 2 parts. The one part that gets most of the attention is the employment, the steps to employment. And I will talk about some of those today. The part that gets overlooked is the soul. When you lose something, it takes a toll on your soul. That's why there are 6 stages of grieving. So I want you to give yourself, 1, recognize, 2, grieve, and then 3, seek support. So the third on our list actually is more talking to your soul rather than it is in employment. However, these two together are going to make your future and your job search far more meaningful. Don't neglect the elements of the soul. So seeking support, you're doing that right here, right now, by being with us at Career Connectors. So many resources to you today and in the future. Do not neglect those resources. Such a beautiful thing that Jessica and her team have come up with. So beautiful to watch the changes in people's lives and the support that they receive over the years. So don't let this one slip away. So number 4, I want you to ask for help. I suffer from this malady. I know what it's like to be afraid or fearful or embarrassed to ask for help. However, if you are feeling sick these days, don't you go get a COVID test? Don't you seek help from somebody who has some answers? Not all of them. We recognize that we've seen not everybody has all the answers. However, at least there are some steps for you to find relief. If you were injured, you would ask for help. Seek help when you are now in the job search, when you are now struggling to make things work. It's great for those who can find acceptance and peace and be willing to ask for help. Number 5, be your authentic self. I loved a quote I heard earlier this year. This year is not about perfection. This year is about being authentic. Everyone you meet is going through something. Everyone. I don't know another time in my life that it has been so evident that everyone is going through something. On the outside, even a Zoom meeting, there are technology issues. There are people popping in through the background. You've got roommates or dogs or cats, and it's not about perfection anymore. It's about being your authentic self, especially when it comes to the job search or career transition. So being authentic in your interviews, in your resumes, in your cover letters, in what your needs are, where you want help, is going to serve you and others well. Number 6, separate. Separate from the toxic. What are you ingesting mentally, spiritually, physically? Jack Canfield, you've known this name from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Success, etc. He says, it's better for you to spend time alone than it is to spend time with toxic people, media, or other elements. Now, I'm not suggesting that you spend time alone because it's Career Connectors we're at today. It's about connection. However, you may need to disconnect from the toxic. You may need to disconnect from your phone a little bit, disconnect from the negative media, disconnect from what you are ingesting over and over. I bet if I asked you to write down 10 negative things about 2020, you could do that in about 10 seconds. If I asked you to do 10 positive things, I bet you'd get to number 5 and then be stumped. That is a sign of what you're ingesting. So again, separate from the toxic, take Jack Canfield's words, maybe you spend some time alone or identifying where the toxicity is becoming ingested in your world, and look at ways that you can separate yourself from that. Number 7, again for the soul, embrace uncertainty. Now, you're going to think I'm crazy here for a second, but when we embrace uncertainty, it opens us up to possibility. Think about that for a second. When we embrace uncertainty, it opens us up to possibility. I'd like to share with you a quote from one of my friends who posted this a couple of days ago on LinkedIn. His name's Braxton Gove. He was a previous student of mine. And he says, This year has been filled with my life's highest highs and lowest of lows. Amen. You can identify. The last week of August, I lost my job, graduated from college, bought my first home, and found out that my wife and I were having a baby girl. Wow, I have never been more discouraged and excited about life all at once. Fast forward 2 months, I've landed my dream job with Walker Edison and applied for my master's degree at college. Sometimes when bad happens to us, it gives us a chance to take a step back, reevaluate, and move forward. I am in a much better place financially and mentally than I was 3 months ago. I'm excited for my new career and my new path. Let's go. He is only 23 years old, but look at the wisdom, because he is recognizing the opportunity that comes through uncertainty. Many of us, more mature in age or wisdom or work experience, might have a hard time getting back to that and recognizing the opportunity in uncertainty. But what I would love for you to do is start dreaming, start thinking, if this has now happened to me, what opportunities does that open? Does it open education? Does it open, perhaps I didn't like the job I was in the first place, and maybe I could start looking and moving towards something that I am more passionate about? Does it open me up to serving others and sharing my experience? So all of these things, I can guarantee you one thing: we're going to have more uncertainty, not only in 2020, but beyond. So for you to be able to, again, think about where are the opportunities in this uncertainty, you are going to put yourself on a mental trajectory for success. Next, doubt. So what is this guy talking about? He's telling me all these different lenses. It's just like when you're at the optometrist and they do the glasses check and they say A or B, this one or this one, and you get to choose. That's what I'm taking you through. That's why I want you to have a pen and paper today. Some of these are going to be an A for you and move you forward. Some are going to be that you dismiss, but there is something that is in here for you today. So when I talk about doubt, here's what I'm talking about. Not doubting your success, not doubting your abilities, not doubting any of those things, not doubting the future of this country, of our world, but doubting your anxiety. A local faith leader says that if you will doubt your anxieties, you will be able to separate yourself from your anxieties and then move forward. So what am I doubting? I'm doubting my anxieties. When I get that mental voice that says, you can't do this, you're not smart enough, you're too old, you made too much money, you can't make that same amount, doubt those. Doubt those voices that are negative and drown them out with positivity, with intention, and with vision. Number 9, expressing gratitude. There are health benefits, not only to your soul, but physical health benefits for showing gratitude. And it's so easy and it's free. Start by showing gratitude for being at Career Connectors today. Start by showing gratitude that you were able to get out of bed and get dressed and put on your glasses, even if it's just like most people on Zoom, where it's party on the top and pajamas on the bottom. Be grateful. You're breathing, you're healthy, you're moving in a positive direction, even though things around you may seem uncertain. So expressing gratitude, what does that look like? A simple thank you. Perhaps it's a smile. Perhaps it's reaching out to someone who has helped you along the way. One thing that I did, I mentioned my multi-diagnoses a number of years ago. The first thing I would do before I get out of bed, and I have continued to this day, is think of 10 things that I'm grateful for before I even get out of bed. Rather than my first thought being, oh, what's the election results and how's that going to mess up my life? No, I think, one, I'm grateful to have woken up. That means I'm alive. 2, I'm breathing, I'm seeing. It's going to be 72 degrees today in November in Utah. I love this. It's so easy to start rattling off 10. You'll be amazed how it changes your day, your perspective, and as you do it over time, your life. Number 10, give every day. Give every day. Well, what do you mean? I just lost my job, that I don't have funds to give. I didn't say monetary funds, but I'm not against it. Give a smile. Give encouragement. Give of your time. Give donations. You can write them off on your taxes. Give blood. Are you kidding me? I'm coming to this and you're telling me, yes, did you know that there are studies that say that individuals who donate blood actually increase their positivity and their outlook? So there is so much available to you just by giving back. Now, so many of you, I looked at the chat and I saw the amazing experience that you have. I mean, not-profit coordination, HR, we've got technology folks, we've got all sorts of experience and skills. Why would you hold that to yourself? Just because you're not getting paid for it doesn't mean that some people do not need your help. So think about what is it that you have to give, and perhaps you start even volunteering in ways that will allow you to give back. In fact, I'm just going to put a plug out there for Jessica. Anyone who would like to volunteer their services for Career Connectors, she will be happy to take your name and number. Put it right there in the chat. So give back. Now I'm going to do a bit of a shift at this point. We've gone through 10 beautiful things. And what I want you to think about now is let's move it to employment. So in our last part of this session, I want to start talking about other perspectives for you to move your employment journey forward. 1, gather your tools. What do I mean by this? Well, any good builder, handy person, they're going to have a set of tools. They're going to use the right tool for the right job at the right time. Now, I can guarantee you, being a job coach for the past 20 years, I see many people who use the wrong tools for the wrong job and at the wrong time. You need to be aware of what these tools are and how they work for you. Are you interested in what some of these tools are? I don't see anybody nodding. Okay, Mary. Thank you, Mary Russo. I'll give them to you and everybody else can benefit. How's that? Thank you, Mary. First one, you've heard of it, but you don't understand it. A cover letter. Well, why do I need a cover letter? Especially when I hear that recruiters don't read them. You know why they don't read them? Because they suck. People have written terrible cover letters. That's why I don't want to read them. Make a cover letter that's meaningful. Be authentic. Think about who you are targeting in the very first paragraph. The first paragraph of that cover letter is going to be like a compliment. It's like dating someone. Wow, Jessica, you look so wonderful today. Now, I don't want you to say, hey, Microsoft, you look so wonderful today. But I do want you to say, hey, Microsoft, I love what you've done during the pandemic to help people do X. It aligns so much with the previous work that I have done, and I know that I could be a good fit for your organization. And then paragraph 2, you give me 2 or 3 reasons why. And paragraph 3, you close it up saying, I look forward to being a contributing member of your team. That's a cover letter that's going to give people a reason to read. And all that cover letter is to do, its sole purpose is to get them to read your resume. So use the right tool for the right reason at the right time. Here's a little tip. Anytime you submit a job post or to a job posting and it says cut and paste your resume here or upload, your computer is being read, or your resume is being read by a robot, a computer. So if it doesn't ask for a cover letter, include it anyway. Make it part of the same document, because every time the computer sees a keyword in your cover letter or your resume, you're going to get a hit for it and it's going to move on to the next process. You're going to get lots of training around that. Some other speakers going to help you with that. That's all the time I have to spend on that today, but you want to make sure that you're getting credit for it. So you've got a cover letter. You need another tool, a resume. It needs to be targeted and focused for the job at hand, for the employer at hand, which means there is no such thing as one perfect resume. You will tweak or change your resume for every single job that you apply for. It should, if you have a master resume, everything in one place, it should take you about an hour to 45 minutes to an hour. In fact, recruiters say if you're not spending that time targeting, you're wasting your time altogether. You will not get noticed. I know this is a revelation for some of you. Your focus and perception have changed. Congratulations. Now, utilize Career Connectors to help you get your resume reviewed. There are people in place to help you with that today. Next tool, your recommendations or your celebrity endorsements, as I like to call them. Who are the celebrities that are endorsing your work? Have them write something for you, or better yet, you write it for them and then ask them to tweak it to their liking. Utilize that on LinkedIn, utilize that in written format, or on, they can send you a Word document, but something that you can use. Who are the people that know your work? A previous boss, a previous colleague, someone that you've volunteered with. Jessica probably writes more letters than anybody I know because she's worked with so many people that have volunteered their time and talents to Career Connectors. So, resume, cover letter, recommendation, thank you notes. Get physical thank you notes. Nobody sends anything in the mail anymore. If you want to be separated from the competition, show your gratitude, write a thank you note, and pop it in the mail. The only thing you got in the mail that was worthy this year was your ballot. Let's send out some gratitude. Let's show some thankfulness. Thank your mom, thank your friends, thank the ones who are actually riding this wave with you and being pummeled with you every time that job doesn't come through. Thank them for what they're doing. All right, so now that you've gathered the tools and you're using them at the right time, I want you to think of a Mary Poppins quote when I say gamify. So what does Mary Poppins say? She says, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Find the fun and snap, the job's a game. I want you to gamify your job search. Make it fun, make it a challenge. Challenge yourself daily. How many resumes will you tweak? How many people will you contact? How many people will you network with? So many of you dread that word. I wish you would embrace that. Embrace the uncertainty of networking. But making it a game will change your outlook and help you through those harder times. Some days you're going to be just fine job searching. Other days it's going to be challenging because you're battling those inner demons, those mental messages that you're going to stop, recognize, and delete and move forward through gamification. Number 13, building your brand. You are authentic. I'm going to switch my background. I love this one. You are just like these glasses, unique, different, colorful. Just as I'm looking out on this, those of you who have your video, I see all sorts of different glasses. What is unique about you? What do you bring to the table? What knowledge do you have to share? You need to be able to identify that, know yourself. So if you haven't done the DISC assessment, I know they offer it free through Career Connectors. Get to know yourself, your industry, and where it's headed. Michigan State puts out an employment, what do they call it? Employment outlook every year about industry trends. You should probably know whether your industry is in decline or if it's moving forward. And COVID has changed that dramatically for many industries that were booming before. Think about the last time you went to the movie theater. I don't even know if we'll have them anymore. So think about your own industry. Is it on the rise or is it in decline? And if so, you need to start looking at who am I, what else do I have to offer, and how am I going to utilize those transferable skills. Building your brand is your LinkedIn profile. Building your brand is your resume, your cover letter, all the tools in your toolbox. It's every tweet that you send, every Facebook message that you send. It's every person that you speak to. It's how you dress. It's how you look. It's how you interact with people at the grocery store, at the drive-in, the drive-through, excuse me, at the pharmacy, at your doctor's office. It's who you are when you're feeling sick, when you're feeling frustrated, and when you're feeling angry. That is all part of your brand. And we're seeing explosions of people's brands in very bad ways. We need you to focus on, how am I presenting myself? When you do that, I want you to recognize that it has an impact that has far-reaching effects that you don't even recognize. So build your brand, work on your brand. There are all sorts of brand strategists, and again, career connectors can help you with that. Number 14, link. Link with people, connect. Does your LinkedIn profile show who you are, what you have to offer, and the direction you want to go in? So many times in working with people over the years, their LinkedIn profile has been a historical record of what they've done, not a propellant for where they're going. What do I mean by that? You'll notice on my LinkedIn profile, I hope you all connect with me because I'm only connected to 3,000 people. So if I can connect you to your next person that's going to help you in your job search, by all means, link with me. You'll find me very easily on a Google search because I am a search engine optimization guru, and I changed my name to Job Coach Justin, the only Job Coach Justin on LinkedIn. I'll be at the top of your Google search. Maybe you could do the same for yourself. Brand yourself. Here's another tip about LinkedIn. When you have your URL for LinkedIn in the top right corner, change it. You'll notice mine says Job Coach Justin. It says LinkedIn Job Coach Justin. Here's the other thing that none of you know that you're going to be so glad you came today. If you're targeting a specific company and you want a specific title within that company, utilize that, change that on your LinkedIn. But on your LinkedIn photo, nobody knows this, but on your photo, you can name that thing as many characters as you want. You could cut the entire job description and put that as your file name. And guess what? No one ever sees it except for Google and search engine optimization. So anytime that they type in the keyword, guess whose LinkedIn profile bounces to the top? Yours, baby. Aren't you glad you came today? That was worth getting out of bed for right there. Now,
Justin, I have a question.
Yes.
For you. So, and I know you're not going to bunch on LinkedIn, but the question is, what if you don't really know where you're going? Do you just put that experience in? You know, people are still working through, you know, what they want to do.
So yeah, we got to start somewhere, right? So I am not saying don't do LinkedIn, but when you're building your brand, so again, you've got to start somewhere. Go ahead and get that catalog of all of your experience in there, and think of LinkedIn as an extension of your resume. The things that you didn't get to say in your resume, go into LinkedIn because people just scroll. So you can add more. And here's the other thing that I'll tell you, another insider tip: add images, add PowerPoint displays, add certificates or awards, add images of you volunteering at the food bank or wherever it is that you do. Those begin to make you authentic. They represent the brand that you have to sell and help people relate to you. So yes, start with the basics. There are plenty of links out there on what are the basics of LinkedIn. Again, you've got to have a picture, you've got to have your history, your volunteer experience, your education, all of that goes in there. But then you think about, how do I target this for my specific brand and separate myself from the competition? Thank you. That is an excellent question, Jessica. So again, I'm not here to talk about LinkedIn, but it is one of the 20 that is going to change your perspective. And just know that LinkedIn is the most utilized search engine in the world for recruiters. So if you're looking for employment and you're not visible on LinkedIn and they can't find you in search engine optimization, or you have a name like Justin Jones with 600 other Justin Joneses in the nation, you've got to figure out a way to brand yourself. So that's all I'll say on that one. Let's move on to number 15, act. Small word, big impact. Act. What do I mean? what I want to start with are the smallest actions. Think about the prompts that come to your mind throughout the day. Now, not the urges, there are different. An urge is something usually self-centered and not what I'm talking about when I say a prompt. When I talk about mental prompts, I'm talking about those small voices that say, you should call, or call, text so-and-so, write a letter to this individual, apply to this position, serve this person, go out of your way and take care of this, pay this bill. Those are what I call mental prompts. If you will just start your day, first listing off 10 things you're grateful for, and second, listening to the mental prompts rather than the urges, because the urge is to stay in bed the rest of the day. The urge is to turn on the television and watch all the news media coverage. The urge is to run away. The urge is to buy some chocolate or some new headphones, or to, urges take you away. Mental prompts move you forward. So think about those mental prompts, and I guarantee you that if you will be grateful and then listen to mental prompts, your day will turn out far different than what you expected. I'm not saying not to plan. I'm saying that be open to the mental prompts that will come to you and push you in a positive direction. Next, follow up. Now, what do I mean by follow up? Follow up with thank you notes. Follow up with LinkedIn connections. Follow up with career connectors. If you meet people on career connectors, follow up by linking with me on LinkedIn, and I will point you to all sorts of resources that can help you. Follow up on the mental pieces that say act. Follow up on a 30, 60, 90-day plan that you put together for your next employer to help solve their business challenges. So start following up on the small things and then get bigger and bigger as you move yourself forward to a proper vision for 2020. The next one, number 17, follow through. Well, in my 20 plus years of working with individuals, I can guarantee it's about 2%, maybe 3%, that follow through on anything that I tell them. And Jessica's going to start nodding her head here, and so are you HR individuals, that if I suggest you do something in an interview, perhaps we do a mock interview. Well, guess what? 1, 2, or 3% of you will actually follow through with that. If I ask you to link with me on LinkedIn, out of this call of 150 people, I expect 10 or fewer to actually link with me. When people are offering to help you, follow through on that offer. It took everything in you to act and ask, why would you not follow through? Well, I'll tell you why, because your vision's off and you need correction. So really follow through on your commitments to people, follow through mostly on commitments to yourself. Number 18, recharge, but more so than recharge, be patient. Employers are struggling right now. They are struggling, 1, to stay afloat, 2, to decide whether they're hiring or letting people go. And that's so interesting because the ones who are hiring like crazy, and the ones who are letting go are also letting go like crazy. And everyone is uncertain about what the next quarter looks like. They're focusing on the next quarter. They used to project out 2 and 3 and 5 years. Now they're projecting out, how do we survive this quarter and what's next quarter going to be looking like? And I know Jessica's nodding her head on this. I don't even have to see her because she's talking to them day in, day out. If you want to know the truth, be talking to Jessica about what's happening in industry in Arizona. When I say recharge, take time to do things that will bring you health, happiness, and eventually wealth as well. So make sure that you're checking, what is my situation? Be aware, recognize that, okay, I may be eating into my savings. I may need to make health decisions in order to move forward. Be aware of those, recharge through family, through connections, through, again, Zenimation on Disney Plus, if you need that 5-minute moment to just zen out for a minute. But make sure you're taking the time to recharge, and also that you're being patient with employers as they get back to you, because they're being inundated with people who are applying. So you are one of many. You are a beautiful pair of glasses out there. Remember that, but don't forget to follow through and follow up with them. Number 19. Oh, and we're so close to time. Number 19, I want to teach you something that when I was a coach, a bobsled coach in Park City, Utah for the Junior Olympic bobsled team. This is an exercise that we did daily with our athletes. And you'll see it throughout the sports world as far as sports psychology goes. It's called visualization. Every one of you, take your glasses off, sit back, close your eyes, and I want you to visualize a few things with me right now. The first thing I want to visualize is I want you to visualize your goals from 2020. The ones that we talked about earlier that changed, the ones that you lost track of, the ones that were blurred out because of all of the other things that happened. Which one of those goals can you hold on to today? You can pick more than one, but I want you to at least pick one that you can hold on today. Now that you've picked that one, next piece that I want you to visualize is I want you to visualize what the next smallest step toward that would be, and pay attention to your mental prompt. Ask yourself, what is the next simple step toward that goal? Now I want you to visualize yourself acting on that step. What does it look like for you? Is it time intensive, or is it done rather quickly? Does it involve simply yourself, or is there another person that comes to mind that you need to act either with or toward or for? Can you visualize that person or individual or organization? Once you have visualized that, then the next thing I want you to visualize is how easy it is to do that step. Mary Poppins, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. Make it fun in your mind. How you make that fun, I don't know. Maybe it has balloons and fireworks around it, but this is visualization, so it doesn't matter. It can be as big as you need it to be. Visualize how easy it is to do that step. The last piece of this visualization is visualize yourself having accomplished that small goal. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Are you standing up and dancing now? Are you jumping on a trampoline for joy? What does it look like to have accomplished that goal? Now, with my athletes, you can open your eyes, you can hang on to that though. With my athletes, we actually visualized every single turn on the track. The hard ones, the easy ones, the ones that pulled G's where your head was knocked side to side in the bobsled and could blur your vision. We did not visualize wrecking. We did not visualize the track being slow. We did not visualize being upset, angry, hurt, any of those things. We only visualize every corner, every turn, and every success, and the moment of success afterward. That is an exercise that took less than 5 minutes that you can do on your own every single day. Number 20, many of you here recognize that this is a faith-based organization. In fact, NCDA, which is the National Career Development Association, has recently published that with career development, we also have many who benefit from the intersection of career development and spirituality considerations for career professionals. that not enough is done to bring those two together. So when you're thinking about that, the National Career Development Association says if you are faith-based, whatever faith that is, there are things that you can do. When you're visualizing, do you consider yourself spiritual? Do you have values that you hold that need to tie into the next work that you do? What are your interests and practice, and discuss those. Also, maybe you believe in calling. Maybe you have something that says things that would get in the way of you utilizing your spirituality throughout this process. If you can bring those together, then the statistics show that you will be not only more mentally focused, but you will be more effective and useful. So as we close, I want to remind you that 2020, you may have lost your vision. You may have lost your focus, but with these 20 elements, whether they're A or B for you, many of these will work for you and help you have clarity, focus, and see 2020 with a new vision. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. Jessica, it is always a pleasure to be with you and your team. Thank you for reaching out. Please link with me on LinkedIn, and all the best to you today.
Thank you, Justin. Yay! This is how we do a virtual hand clap. So if everyone could virtual hand clap for Justin. A couple minutes. So there were some questions here that I thought I'd jump into. And if anyone else has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. All right.
I see one from Rob, right?
Yep.
Okay, what's the trick with your name on LinkedIn? So exactly the trick with LinkedIn, when you go to your profile, there's a couple of tricks that I talked about, but as far as the name, that one is in your URL. It's at the top right. It says change your URL. And with that one, it will have your LinkedIn address, basically. And what you can do with your name is, instead of all those numbers at the end, type in HR, Justin Jones, Human Resources, Justin Jones, Nursing, Justin Jones, Computer Science or Software Engineer. That's the trick with the name. And then when you put it on your resume, it shows LinkedIn / Justin.Jones or Justin Jones. Mine says Job Coach Justin, but that's that one. The other one is with your image. When you save the image, what you want to do is save it as a file name that either says software engineer or whatever is going to get those keywords from your industry, and it can be as long as you want. I've said, go ahead and cut and paste the job description. It's a little tongue in cheek, but at least you know that you got all the keywords for a specific job for a specific company. So think about that from the industry, and no one ever sees it. You're the only one that knows that you've been so smart. So that's the answer to that one. Any other questions that were out there?
I want to make sure I captured number 20 correctly. How did you say number 20?
So 20 is faith.
Faith, just faith. Okay.
Exercise your faith. So we talked about National Career Development Association. To be even more specific, if I can use a book that is very famous throughout the world, you might have heard of it. It's called the Bible, and there's this guy in there named Jesus. And he has these people who are following him, and they were all fishers. And they were in the boat, and they could not find any fish. And he's like, you know what? Why don't you do that on the other side? Look to your mentors. Look to your faith leaders. Look to where you connect with your spirituality and make that change. Another story out there, he's out there with his friends again, and the storm comes up. This guy, Jesus, is asleep, and they think they are going to die because everything around them is swirling. The winds are blowing. The boat is tipsy. They think they're going to fall over. They think they're going to sink and die, which you have felt this year. When you lost your job, when you lost a friend, when you lost the ability to go to work, what they do is they finally get the strength to ask. They ask him, help us. And he's like, oh, you have little faith. And suddenly everything goes calm. I don't know if you've thought about this, but when those voices in your head are talking to you and they are negative, who's telling you that? Is that God telling you that? I don't think so. He wouldn't say that to you, and you shouldn't say it to you either. So again, tapping into your faith can bring you so far, so quick, faster than you ever expected, especially if you'll listen to those little mental prompts.
So good. Justin, we have to know if you are still singing.
Oh yeah, I'm still singing, and I'm so sad because, you know, church, we don't get to go to church anymore, and I teach the little kids in primary songs, and I'm thinking of this song about faith. Faith is knowing the sun will rise every day. Faith is like a mustard seed, and if you plant it and let it grow, it's just one of the songs that kind of fills my heart right now in all of you, because I have faith in you. And I'd sing it, but it's just like, faith is knowing the sun will rise, lighting each new day. Faith is knowing my prayers are heard every time I pray. Faith is like a little seed. If planted, it will grow. Faith is knowing that I succeed in every time I grow. I'm still singing.
Again, this is our virtual hand clap, everyone. Show us. Oh, Justin, last time you taught us about kindergarten. This time you taught us about preschool, church and preschool. I mean, seriously.
I wish I had a white coat. We could have done vision, Dr. Vision today, but I hope that all of you have a new vision as you leave today. There's so many things, good things out there for you to see.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. Justin will be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, he will answer in the chat. But Justin, again, thank you so much for being here today.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
Awesome. All right, we are going to continue moving forward. And Heather, aren't you excited to follow that up?
I am. I'm not going to break out in song.
Oh, shoot. You didn't know that was a requirement for today?
I did not, my dear.
So Heather Kitsko is here. She is the Director of Global Talent Acquisition for Isola, and she is responsible for the vision, leadership, planning, and execution of the global talent acquisition strategy. She has over a decade of experience in technical and analytics recruiting, specifically in business intelligence, compliance, data, project management, etc. And prior to Isola, she was a senior manager for talent acquisition for Vixo, and then prior to that with Orion Health. And so Heather has her Bachelor of Arts in Communication with a minor in Public Relations from the University of Pitt in Pennsylvania. No issues in Pennsylvania today going on, Heather.
No, none at all.
None at all. Heather holds a recruitment, marketing, and SPHR certification. So Heather, thank you so much for being.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. All right. I don't see my slides yet.
So if you just put your browser,
there we go.
There you go.
There we go. Well, thank you, Jessica, for having me and allowing me to represent Isola at Career Connectors. I'm very excited to meet with all of you virtually and tell you a little bit about Isola. I'm sure many of you are not familiar with our organization, as I myself was not prior to joining the company. Let me get started here. Okay, there we go. So a little bit about Isola. Isola is a leading global manufacturing material science company. We design, develop, and manufacture and market copper-clad laminate and dielectric prepeg used fabric used in the advanced multi-layer PCB space, which is your printed circuit board. So what does that mean? I know that sounds very technical. I felt the same way when I came to Isola. So if you were basically to take a printed circuit board and to cut it, and if you were to look at the side of it, the thin layers that you find in the side of a printed circuit board, those are the raw materials that we create and sell to whether it be the defense industry, automotive, electronics industry, and they use our products to design and create a printed circuit board. We have been around for over 105 years. Our company was founded in Düren, Germany in 1912. We have about 1,600 employees worldwide, a global footprint of over 7 manufacturing facilities. So we have our corporate global headquarters based here in Eric Chandler, but we also have a plant in Ridgeway, South Carolina. We have an operations in Düren, Germany, where we were founded. And then we also have, we're also located in Asia as well. Just some information on our mission. Our mission is to really improve life by enabling innovation in electronic products. So through our innovation, we're really able to help companies enable new capabilities for mankind, whether it's in, Jessica, my slides keep forwarding without me forwarding them.
Okay, I don't know why. You can go back. Do you see how to go back? There you go. They might be on a timer. I'm not sure.
Okay. So I'll get back to my first slide. So we are the largest laminate material producer in the United States and Europe. We hold 7th of the share worldwide. We are an industry technology leader. We have over 185 patents. We have a brand new research and development facility here in Chandler, Arizona. We also have a R&D facility in 2 locations in Asia. I wish this would stop doing that. And we transform to deliver great customer, employer, and investor value. Okay. Sorry, guys, I keep having issues with my slides. Like I said, we improve life by enabling innovation in electronic products. You know, one of the way that we did this, you know, this past year, obviously, was with COVID. You know, our raw materials were used in the printed circuit boards to create the ventilators. And through our cost competitiveness, we help make our products more affordable to more people around the world.
Heather, I went ahead and took the control back, and so I'll go ahead and advance. Is that okay?
Perfect. So
yeah.
That's perfect. That's the next slide. So our core values, obviously, our first and foremost is put safety first. You know, we prioritize safety and the well-being of our employees above all else. We want to make sure that we're following EHS safety guidelines in all of our plants, making sure that our employees have the right PPE equipment and following the appropriate procedures in order to keep them safe. Be collaborative. You know, we work as a global team across functions, so it's really important that we work professionally and personally, and that we're able to work cross-functionally. Be accountable. You know, when you make a commitment, it's really important to take full responsibility and follow through on your actions. And if you're unable to follow through, making sure you're providing an update to your business leaders or your coworkers, letting them know that something's going to be delayed. Be customer focused. We deliver quality solutions, and we really listen to our external and internal customers, and that's how we gain our loyalty. And then finally, be courageous. We embrace change, we speak up when we disagree, and we move forward committed. So some of the current opportunities that we have open in the Chandler location is we're looking for an applications engineer. And this role really, it's an applications engineer that has a background in either electrical or mechanical engineering, somebody that even has a chemistry background. And they work closely with the engineering teams as well as the customers and the product managers. And this role is one role where we're really looking for somebody that has previous experience with printed circuit board. And then we're looking for a technology development chemist. And we're looking for this person to really have experience using halogen-free, polymer and halogen-free experience, an IT business analyst. And this is really an SAP IT business analyst. So this person will work cross-functionally across the globe as it relates to SAP. A manufacturing financial analyst. We're really looking for somebody that has that financial analyst, but really from an FP&A lens, but the person really needs to have a background in manufacturing. We would consider somebody that may not have an the full FP&A background. We can teach that, but the manufacturing experience is a requirement. And then a network security administrator. and finally a senior signal integrity engineer. And for this role, you know, we're looking for somebody that has a electrical engineering degree, has specific experience in signal integrity, and has worked with printed circuit boards. And this role, you know, it's a senior level role, so we look for somebody that has multiple years of experience in this space, or, you know, somebody that has several years of experience that has a master's degree or a PhD. And then there's my contact information. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. There's my email as well. And, you know, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss any of these opportunities with you, and anything else that you might have questions about Isola.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather.
You're
And
welcome.
how long have you been with Isola?
So I have been with Isola since June. I started as a consultant in June. I was there for about 3 months, and then I was hired on in September. Prior to me coming, they never had a dedicated talent acquisition function.
Wow.
So I've been brought on to build a global TA function for the business.
That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, virtual clap for Heather. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And feel free to reach out to her. And we dropped her information in the chat as well. And she is answering chats if you send any private messages to her as well. All right, so Darren, welcome. We're glad to have you. He is he's a mortgage underwriter recruiter with PennyMac. He's been in real estate industry since 2003, and where he started as a real estate agent. And then in 2016, he became a mortgage recruiter and business developer. And he went from helping consumers buying their first home, second home, or investment properties to assisting professionals moving and attracting them to another mortgage company. So currently he's the mortgage underwriter recruiter for a company called PennyMac. And he says he enjoys helping people make a move to a successful company and see them grow and move up in their career. So please help me welcome Darren Dow. Hi, Darren.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much, Justin, too, for such the encouraging words, because it just planning back what I went through from the beginning of January of not having a job, basically really homeless to a certain point. Now with PennyMac, one of the nation's largest mortgage companies, we just bought a home. So it's been a tremendous but a wonderful, wonderful 2020 for us as well. So yeah, I just wanted to go through the agenda today, just a summary about PennyMac. A lot of people don't know a lot about PennyMac. We've been in business since 2008. We're the nation's largest servicing mortgage company. So when you go and get your loan and go through and get the loan is bought, we are the nation's 8th largest servicing company. Also, we're becoming up with one of the top lenders to create loans. We're just opened up an office here in Phoenix at the beginning of 2020. So we're expanding across the nation very aggressively. We are currently at 5,500 employees. Just since January, we've hired 1,800 employees. So like what Justin said, either companies are laying off or companies are tremendously hiring. That's what we are doing. We are hiring multiple positions across the nation. And with COVID going on, a lot of these positions can be remote and work from home, which is a lot of people really enjoy being able to do that. So it helps them to have a more of a work-life environment than just having to go to work and work a lot of hours and not being able to have a home work life balance there. So that's one reason I really enjoy working with PennyMac. They're very family friendly, family team oriented company with a lot of support. So if we can go to the next slide. Kind of like what I was talking about, PennyMac is the 8th largest U.S. servicer. Also, What we do is what I like to say is career, not a job. When we come over to PennyMac, we really like promoting inside, and we have a lot of entry-level jobs. So if somebody's looking to just get into the mortgage industry, we have many positions that are open up that get people just in their foot in the front door. So they become very successful because of the support that we have. We help promote with inside, also with a lot of training and